Hey everybody, I am going to be making my March overview page for my book journal, and once again I had my husband pre-draw the lines so I can just fill them in. I don't have to figure out the math, it just works easier that way. I will be going with a green color scheme, and last month I used hearts as kind of the decorating icon, so this month I'm going to use, I'm going to use Kellie Stamps leaves that I've had forever and ever. So I am just going to put this page together just like I did the previous ones, with the title, the shortest, the longest, genres, and then just go from there to decorate it. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Sabrina, and I am on a few design teams, including Coco Daisy, Scrap and Happy Studio, and Tracy Reed Designs. I also just launched my first big picture classes where I teach you all about traveler's notebooks. All that stuff is in the description box below. All right, I'm gonna get started on making this. I am going to start with the stamping of the month, and I've learned from the first 2 months that one letter at a time is best for getting a good stamp impression. At least I thought. The M didn't turn out so great, but I don't think I pushed hard enough. So I'm going to lay it carefully on top and then re-stamp it, and that will just have to work. And I also grabbed a smaller acrylic block too to help, and I'm just going to continue stamping the month and then go from there. March was actually a pretty good month for reading. I don't remember how many books I read, 8 or 9, but considering that the world went upside down halfway through, it was a good month. I actually read a wide variety of books. I'm looking through my tray of Feed Your Craft die cuts, and I'm pulling out a few green ones, Well Read and Introvert Mode, and then a circle that says Read. I also printed out this digital card that says Read, and I just outlined it in 2 different colors, so that way it's a little bit more bold. And I also added a digital stamp that says Read Past My Bedtime, because I also did a lot of that in March. I do that still, read way past my bedtime. So I stamped the last letters of genre first because I knew that was going to touch the crease of the book. So I needed to make sure I had it in the right spot. I'm adding a few leaves and up by the March, and now I'm grabbing a few other stamps to kind of play around and see what I want to add or don't add. I eventually decided to not add the reading and all the books because I felt like it would just be too much in one row right there. So I'm just going to take those out, and I will just add some stamping for the books. I also just add several lines for genres because, like I said, I had a wide range of genres, and when I write those down, I will tell you what those genres were. So I'm stamping, and I grabbed my piece of paper because since this section was going to be the longest, I think it was supposed to be the shortest, but I wound up reversing it. But the reason I grabbed the paper is because I was going to try to make the book shorter. I'm not quite sure if it worked out the way I intended, but that's okay. I'm going to repeat the same thing like I did in previous months with stamping a few books and then a few striped books and a few laying down. I'll also add in the leaf and the 2 different types of leaves, and I just love those leaves. I think that stamp is like one of my most used stamps over the years. So right here I am putting the shortest, and I think it was supposed to be the longest, but I accidentally reversed them, no big deal. And I'm just adding a few lines to write down the books. And now I'm going to add in the middle the number of pages that I read. I think it was like nearly 2,700. Then the hardest part was adding that little comma in the middle. That was hard for me. My fingers do not cooperate. So I'm going to put the number of pages, and then I'm going to use my stamps later on to put pages. I'm going to use one of the die cuts, Well Read, to put above the longest book. So I'm squeezing in pages. And now I am going to go ahead and trace my lines that my husband put down. I'm actually going to trace it several times or go over the same line several times. I think my micron pen is dying or the tip got bent, so I am going to have to, that's why I'm going back and forth several times. And then I will be able to erase the lines as I go. I think I'm going to start looking for like a calendar, stamps, or a template or something that can make it a little easier to draw these calendar pages, because my husband says like the overall dimensions of this A5 journal make it hard to create a calendar with a 7x5. So I accidentally drew an extra line, and I'm going to use a white jelly pen to kind of use that as whiteout. And then I will also cover part of it with introvert mode sticker. And I'm going to write the days of the week, Sunday through Saturday. And then I will pick out a midliner. I did not have I did not have a green that I liked, so I'm just going to go with gray, and I put the midliner down first just in case there's any bleeding or anything like that. So midliner first, and then I will use my micron pen to write the days of the week, and then I will write the number of pages. Just a fun, simple way to document how much I read. And I just really enjoy this journal and making these kind of bojo, say that right, boho? Bojo. I always say that wrong. Pages. I love this journal. So I'm just writing down the number of pages, and if I stack 2, that means I finished a book and then started a second one. And then towards the bottom of the month, I wound up losing track of pages, so I put like 25-ish and 90-ish, and that's just gonna have to work. Because it seems like these days, even now, I forget to write down the number of pages that I'm reading. It's just too much to remember nowadays. For shortest books, I think was Free Lunch, and I Can Make You a Promise. I think that's what that was called. And then, I had to draw another line. And then on longest, the longest books were the rest of the story, and then Love Her or Hate Her. And then I am going to move on to genres. And the genres, like I was telling you earlier, I read coming of age, a memoir, Native American, and discussing different topics of race, contemporary, romance. It was just a wide range of books, so it was a good month overall. I'm going to stamp reading down at the bottom of the calendar, and then I'm going to use a white piece of paper to stamp all the books, and then I can cut that out, and it'll almost be like my own die cut. And then I'm also going to stamp a black circle that says get all the books or something like that. I just wanted something to stand out for the calendar and also the journaling card. So that's why I used the paper. Or it says get lost in a book. And I'm going to put that above the R. I thought I could put it next to the R in the read, but it would hang off the edge and I didn't like that. So what I'm going to do is put it slightly above the read, and then I will just use some leaves to stamp below it. I'm going to put all the books right there next to the reading, and then I'm going to stamp a bunch of leaves, and then I will be done with this page. I'm stamping in 2 different types of green colors, and I just have to tell you that one of them is called library green, and I just love this shade of green, and I love that it's called library green. It's an archival Ranger ink. Adding a few more leaves, and then I will be done. Just going to add the get lost in a book, and it'll be completed. Here it is. Here is the final page. Once again, I love how this monthly wrap-up for my book journal came together. I am just loving keeping track of the number of pages I read during the month or daily, and it really reminds me of being a kid and keeping track of the number of pages I read. It really is probably a bookworm type of thing to do. So I hope you enjoyed watching these pages come to life, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.